thank you for the opportunity for being here. I think I speak not just for myself, but also for my Command Chief, Bill Turner. It's been our absolute pleasure over the last 2 years to represent all the AFSOC men and women who, like my brothers up here on the stage, have been doing some pretty amazing things. Two points I would like to leave you with before some of my comments is, first, if you haven't noticed, that SOCOM and SOF is a team sport. It really is. It really is the only joint force in the Department of Defense. Sometimes you're on offense, sometimes you're on defense, sometimes you're on special teams. And a lot of those special teams are you folks in the audience, and we thank you because we cannot do what we do without you. But we are the only force in the DoD that goes up together. Sometimes that's a good thing, and sometimes that's a bad thing, depending on your point of view. And the second point is we've done something, our nation has done something over the last 12 years that we've never done before in our history, and that's be at war with an all-volunteer force. And it's truly amazing what all the men and women, whether you're enlisted, whether you're officer, whether you're contractor, whether you're civilian, have been able to do for the nation. So, yesterday you heard Admiral McCraven give his 2020 vision. What he tasked me to do is, over the last 2 years, is to be able to generate and sustain as much combat power as possible, and provide that combat power to the TSOC commanders that you heard from yesterday. You'd have to ask them what kind of grade we get at AFSOC. If you were to ask them, I think they would give you one word. Starts with M, ends with E, and there's an O and an R in between. Because all they want is more, which is fine. But it caused us to think at the AFSOC, do we have the right balance in our portfolio? And the things that they ask for me the most is mobility, strike, and ISR. And we came into this war with probably a little bit out of balance, so over the last year we've been kind of looking really hard. Are we giving the TSOC commanders everything they need, and at the right proportion? So we've been working pretty hard with SWORDAC to try to figure that out. One of the other things we realized real quickly is we're kind of like where we were when I was a lieutenant. I own all the airplanes, I own the ops, I own the maintenance, and I own the money to fly the airplanes. But over the last 12 years, we kind of got out of balance between our O&M accounts and our investment accounts. And what does that mean? And I'll use the CB-22 as an example. We buy our last 3 CB-22s next fiscal year. That's it. Now I own the airplanes, I own the crew, I own the maintenance, and I have money to fly them. And if you think that something's not going to be wrong with those airplanes that we got to fix, you're mistaken. Stuff will happen. It's a brand new airplane. But we don't have investment money in the bank accounts. You'll see us over the next couple palm cycles to kind of put that back in balance, to kind of do for whatever our resources are. We are also in every GCC and every TSOC flying tactical missions every day. There is no other Air Force MATCOM that can say that. We have airplanes in every theater providing lift, providing ISR, and things in strike in some cases. Things we've done since we've last talked. Next month we'll land our first 2 ship CB-22s to Millennium, which provided much needed tilt order lift to both SOC Africa and SOC Europe. We'll bring 2 more in September. We'll finish rounding them out over next year up to 10 airplanes. We'll land our first MC-130J in June, Mike, I think it is. And we'll build them out right now. The current program record is 12, which I think, will provide a very much needed capability to both SOC Africa and SOC Europe. We'll follow that next year by putting CB-22s into the PACOM. With respect to our gunships, with your help, and especially with SWORDAC and the Dragon Spear, we've made quite an increase in capability in our gunship fleet. This past year, we dropped both GPS-guided and laser-guided small diameter bombs off the Whiskey. We have the only laser-guided bomb capability in the Air Force, and that is mostly because of our work with SWORDAC. We also started employing Hellfires, and we're also working on a lightweight 105. With respect to the brand new AC-130J, the first one is at Eglin going through mod. I don't know when the second one shows up. I don't know, but about another year, it'll be ready to start testing. We are putting HD sensors on everything. If it's got a sensor on it, between us and SWORDAC, we're swapping them out, and as soon as we got HD on there, now we hear that there's HD+. And then we heard there's HD++, which I'm sure I'll get hit over the next couple hours from you guys. And then finally, we stood up an Air Warfare Center, something that President Kennedy asked us to do back in 1962. And it kind of survived for 6 years and then kind of fizzled away, but we stood that back up. And its primary focus is to do tactics and test development, training, and also aviation fit. The reserves gave us a one-star frigate John Weeks. So we've been up and running now for about 2 to 3 months, and it works very well. So with that, I look forward to your questions.
Good morning, everybody.